Insurance isn't one size fits all. That's why drivers have enjoyed Progressive's Name Your Price tool for years now. With the Name Your Price tool, you tell them what you want to pay, and they'll show you options that fit your budget. So whether you're picking out your first policy or just looking for something that works better for you and your family, they make it easy to see your options. Visit Progressive.com. Find a rate that works for you with the Name Your Price tool. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Every team, every topic, everywhere. This is Believe.
Welcome in, everyone, to today's edition of the Royals Rundown podcast presented by Royals Review. I am Jacob Milham, joined as always by the bobbly-headed Jeremy Greco. Jeremy, you're going east, west, north, south. That is how we describe a pitcher's arsenal, but not really our heads usually. Is everything okay over there?
Oh, don't you ever just sometimes think, what would it be like if I was a bobblehead? Wouldn't life be easier if I was just a bobblehead?
I don't know, because then we're stationary and you have to sit up on a bookshelf somewhere, and who knows what horrors one might see as a stationary bobblehead.
You don't gotta go to work. You can't get canceled.
True. Unless you're a Trevor Bauer bobblehead. Anywho's, welcome in, everyone. We are glad to have you here. If you like what we got going on over here at the podcast, make sure you follow, subscribe, leave a review if you want to help us grow. But most importantly, go check out the work over at royalsreview.com. We had to push this a day. We lost track of days, and frankly, I was on my last duty day aboard the ship last night.
Lost track of days.
I realized it at like 2:00 in the afternoon.
Is it like are we podcast married, Jacob? Your mistakes are my mistakes. My mistakes.
You admitted in the Slack that you forgot too.
But that's you forgot more. Is my point.
Don't gaslight me. That's not what we do here. You can gaslight me about Hall of Fame opinions, which we will talk about the Hall of Fame a little bit later on, but you can gaslight me about that. How's that sound?
We'll see.
We'll see how it goes. All right.
I don't know. I don't know how gaslighty my opinions are.
I mean, I would hope mine aren't, but if y'all out there listening think it is, just leave us a review. Leave us a comment on Spotify too. Always a very active conversation going on over there. So thank you to everyone over there who is listening. So like I said, we're recording this on Friday afternoon. Just lost track of the days. So we already got one game in the books against the Detroit Tigers, but we'll look back at the homestand, some of the very important things that happened during the homestand, and look at a pitching acquisition for the Royals who, so far, so good. All right, let's go ahead and start off with the big news, the thing that we should all be celebrating and highlighting. Congratulations to Salvador Perez getting that 317th career home run in that final win against the San Francisco Giants, tying Hall of Famer George Brett for the Royals' all-time lead. Jeremy, this is one of those things, I remember always on the broadcast they would talk about, Salvi is so good against National League pitching. He does so good against these teams. And lo and behold, you have two series against National League teams, and he does pretty damn well.
I remember seeing David Lesky previewing the Giants series. He's like, they give up a lot of home runs, so if you're hoping Sal can hit 3 and break the record, this is the team to do it against. And he got 2.
He did.
Pretty good. Well, 2 in a 3-game series.
Yeah, absolutely. He'll take that. Overall, in that series against San Francisco, he went 2 for 10, but 2 home runs, 2 hit by pitch, and 4 RBI and 3 runs scored. Jeremy, I think that's a pretty good summation of Salvador Perez, isn't it?
Yeah, 2026 Salvador Perez. All or nothing, baby.
Hey, it is what it is. It is just that difference.
How can you be someone who can hit these mammoth home runs and then just nothing else you do is a hit?
That's what happens when you chase at everything.
I guess. Thanks, who was it that threw this? Was it Landon Roop that threw the sinker right down the middle to a guy who chases everything?
Yeah, that sounds about right. So
thank you to
whoever
would you do that?
I'm sure he didn't mean to. Sure he meant for it to sink a little bit.
Just throw breaking pitches.
Yeah, that usually
If
what
I had a
works.
slider, I would never throw Salvador Perez anything but a slider.
Yeah, you have seen plenty of pitchers spam a slider against Salvi, and especially the ones with good command who can dot that right outside right in the
Mhm.
shadow of the zone. Yeah, it's over for
I
Salvi.
it If you hang a slider, he's gonna punish it. So don't hang it. Make sure it goes way outside. He might still swing at it,
He
but
might.
yeah.
So last night, unfortunately, he had a pretty good run at the plate. I mean, we're talking about this all or nothing, but he was a little consistent. He was hitting safely in 14 of his last 18 games since June 27th. That's pretty dang good for him. 9 extra base hits at the conclusion of the San Francisco Giants series. And it's like more of that all or nothing, right? In that stretch, he was batting 265. Well, before that, he was batting 163 in 22 games beforehand. It's
And
just
can I just
there's no
say,
middle.
14 hits in 14 out of 18 games, and you're hitting 265? It's like 1 hit a game.
Yeah, but he's
It's
hitting.
it's not a great hitting stretch. It sounds nice, but it's not,
It's one of those context things. It's nice for Salvi, but like
I
while
guess.
we're talking about context, I mean, now there is like I don't know. Now there's like that feather in the cap for Salvi. I trust that this has been very much a focal point for him this season. I would hope it has been at least. And I imagine as the season's, gotten worse, the postseason has gotten further and further away from being a possibility. I imagine that it's kind of become a focal point for the team, like putting him in good positions to get that extra home run. And frankly, I hope he doesn't hit another home run for a little bit because I really want him to do it at home, do it in Kauffman Stadium, get that Kansas City Royals crowd reaction, and overall just give fans that feel good moment. It was a great homestand. They were 5-1. That was a great way to come out of the All-Star break. But could you imagine how many it's going to be on every highlight reel from the season. It's going to be on like the overall MLB 2026 highlight reel if Salvador Perez hits that home run in Kauffman Stadium. The pop from the crowd would be amazing.
You didn't start a business just to keep the lights on. You're here to sell more today than yesterday. You're here to win. Lucky for you, Shopify built the best converting checkout on the planet. Like the just one tapping, ridiculously fast acting, sky-high sales stacking, champion of checkouts. That's the good stuff right there. So if your business is in it to win it, win with Shopify. Start your free trial today at shopify.com/win.
So once again, congratulations to the team captain. I hope he has a few more left in the tank. Anything else,
I
Jeremy?
have to believe he has at least one.
Oh, yeah. At least one. Barring some freak injury, he is going to have at least one.
He could hit it today and then get traded to the Angels tomorrow. I hear they're looking for a catcher.
Jeremy, everyone's looking for a catcher right now. Everyone's looking. I put out that clip of us talking about of you bringing up the cursed idea of Salvador Perez to the New York Yankees, and now I'm getting Jonah Heim to the Yankees. I'm getting Hunter Goodman to the Yankees. I'm getting Shea Langeliers to the Yankees. Like everyone wants the Yankees to go get a catcher, just not Salvador Perez, please. Pretty.
I don't
please.
think the Yankees want Salvador Perez, but yeah. The Angels, you never quite know what the Angels are going to do, and I hear they're looking for a catcher. They're looking for a young catcher, so I'm thinking if the Royals traded a catcher to them, it would probably be Blake Mitchell, but I don't think they want one even as young as him. They want someone in AAA.
Yeah.
But I don't know. They've got I struggle to understand what the Royals would necessarily want from the Angels. Maybe one of their starting pitchers, but Blake Mitchell's not getting you Detmers or Soriano by himself. And I don't know what else you'd have to throw in there. And they're only under contract for 2 more seasons. So, like, how much do you want to give up for them? And do you trust that their breakouts this year are going to be maintained into the future for the remainder of those contracts? I haven't really looked at the numbers. I don't know. I'm just saying names right now because, golly gee willikers, we're a week and a half from the trade deadline, and we've seen, like, the Brewers acquired Lance McCullers. And that's it.
Yeah, that's it. That is it. Hey, dude, do you want to talk about some acquisitions from the Royals before we talk about injury updates?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, speaking of that, so the Royals did make an acquisition since we last spoke. They acquired former Houston Astros pitcher Nate Pearson, a former top prospect from the Astros. The Astros, designated him for assignment, and the Royals added him to the 40-man roster. In turn, the Royals designated outfielder Cameron Meisner for assignment. We'll see what Pearson's got in the tank. He's 29 years old. He hasn't had trying to think. Hasn't had a whole lot of success when it comes to staying off the injured list.
Yeah.
That's he made his debut this season back on May 20th, it looks like. And he's been okay at preventing runs since then. 16 appearances since then with a 3.60 ERA, but he's just not striking out enough guys. Like a 19% walk rate to a 14%, or a 19% strikeout rate to a 14% walk rate is not optimal for a reliever, especially.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
I just pulled up his TJ stats page. He's got 4 60-plus grade pitches. 4. His four-seamer averages 97.7. He's got a nasty slider, just one of the filthiest sliders in the game. He's got a really good curveball and a really good changeup. Why can't he get more chase and whiff?
I don't know.
They put a card in the game so that last year they did some prospect flashback series,
Yeah.
which was kind of fun, and they had a Nate Pearson with the Blue Jays. I mean, that was one of my best favorite pitcher cards in the game last year. I used him pretty much for the rest of the season, even when he got out-leveled. He was that good. So I am really rooting for this acquisition. It may sound weird for me to say this, but like my whole baseball fandom starts with Hardball 5 and falling in love with Craig Paquette and Mike McFarlane and Jeff
Yeah.
King. So when I see a guy do well in a video game, I want that guy on my team. And so Nate Pearson's going to be on the team. I certainly can't guarantee anything positive there, but we can hope. And clearly the stuff is still there. He was once a top 100 prospect in baseball. Speaking of prospects, one thing we didn't put on our rundown for today is we do need to talk about updated top 100 lists.
Yeah.
But he's got this pedigree. He's still only 29. The stuff is still there. Maybe the Royals can unlock it.
Maybe so. That would be ideal. We'll just have to wait and see if that actually comes to fruition. It all comes down to command and control for him. Like he's got these great stuff pitches that the models love, but if he can't find the zone, that's why he was designated for assignment. Andy Rogers also reported that the Royals have been interested in him for a while. Is the way that she put it?
I feel like every team has probably been interested in Nate Pearson for some period of time, just because his stuff is crazy.
Right. And like I'm not shaming it. I find it, I don't want to say a little frustrating, but it seems like there is this recurring theme of like the Royals have been interested in this person for X amount of off seasons. And then you finally get him and it just doesn't really work out. Like Cameron Meisner. Remember, I think the Royals were reportedly interested in him ahead of the 2025 season.
Correct.
And they finally got him after that. Right. Oh, they did draft him, I'm pretty sure.
Yes, they just didn't
Out of high
sign
school.
him.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. I'm sure Pearson is going to get plenty of run, especially, as the trade deadline gets closer. We're a little bit more than a week out from the trade deadline, but the Royals are kind of poised to trade away from the bullpen. Specifically, I think of a John Schreiber, who is a guy that MLB.com listed as one of the 20 names that's most likely to move. They put out that list this morning. We're looking at Daniel Lynch the fourth. Like there's at least 2 solid names there. I'm sure the Royals could move on from a couple more arms too.
I think they need to deal Alex Lang. I know he's got club control. I don't think his value is going to get any higher. Might as well. I don't think he's going to be even this good next year. You might as well trade him now for whatever you can get and move on. Matt Strom has 3 straight outings with 1 strikeout, and he only gave up a run in one of them. So maybe you could trade him for something. Bag of balls, even I think I would take. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. The only relievers I would like the Royals to keep that are currently on the 40-man roster are Steven Cruz, who got his first career save earlier this week, and then I guess he's the one who blew the game last night, blew the save.
Yeah.
And then Beck Way. I would like to see more of Beck Way, and he gets opening tonight, gets the opener's
He
job.
does. Yes, he does. So that was another development today. I was a little worried when we saw that Noah Cameron's starting spot was TBA, but it sounds like Noah Cameron is fine. He's going to be pitching in as a bulk man behind Beckway, opening up things in game 2 against the Detroit Tigers. One thing, so we'll get to the prospect updates. I'm not skipping past that, but I
Sure,
do
yeah.
want to stay focused on recent pitching acquisitions here, especially after another good outing from Randy Dobnak. This is one of those guys that we talk about competitive teams like finding value in the wire, in the weeds, and things like that. And they got him for cash considerations from the Seattle Mariners and Dobnak. I'm not saying, oh, he's a solution. Oh, he's going to fix the rotation. But that's why I said earlier, so far, so good. It has not been perfect. It has not been spotless, but he was pretty dang spotless against the Detroit Tigers last night, tossing 5 scoreless innings. He only has 4 appearances, but a 1.42 ERA with Kansas City over the last month. So it's a lot to like from what we have seen from him so far, right? And it's one of those things that it feels like the Royals are on the bad end of this more often than not. They let go of a guy, they move on from someone for nothing, and then he turns into a contributor, at least for another team. Right now, when the Royals need the depth the most, Dobnak has been that for Kansas City, and I love it.
What would you do if your online store converted 36% more shoppers? You could take 36% more vacation.
Another pina colada? Yes, please.
Open a new retail location with 36% more square feet.
Fantastic.
Hire 36% more help.
You're hired and you're hired.
Shopify has the world's best converting checkout, up to 36% better than other e-commerce platforms. What you do with those extra sales is up to you. Switch to Shopify today at shopify.com/listen and get a $1 trial. Shopify.com/listen.
You're listening to this podcast, so I know you've got a curious mind. Here's a helpful fact you may not know yet. Drivers who switch and save with Progressive save over $900 on average. Pop over to Progressive.com, answer some questions, and you'll get a quick quote with discounts that are easy to come by. In fact, 99% of their auto customers earn at least one discount. Visit Progressive.com and see if you can enjoy a little cash back. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National average 12-month savings of $946 by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive between June 2024 and May 2025. Potential savings will vary.
Stands both as an example of why you do trade for someone he was basically on waivers. He exercised an advancement incentive or something like that. I'm operating on like 2 hours of sleep, so forgive me if I forget some words, with the Mariners, and basically said, you have to put me on your 40-man or you have to offer me up to all 29 other teams. And they offered him up to all 29 other teams. The Royals got their hands on him, and he's given them some innings. So he's an example of, sometimes you trade for these guys that other teams would have to release otherwise. But also, to go with that 1.42 ERA, he has a 5.08 SIERA. He has one more strikeout than walks in his games so far this year, 10 strikeouts to 9 walks in 19 innings. Along with 17 hits. It's been a little smoke and mirrors, but sometimes, to go back to your point of like good teams will find these guys to fill these gaps, a lot of times those guys are smoke and mirrors guys. And you just are like, well, they smoked and mirrored long enough, and now we can get back the guy we actually wanted in here. The problem that the Royals had was none of their smoke and mirrors guys were smoke and mirroring, especially in the bullpen. So, hooray, it worked this time. Don't count on Randy Dobnak being a mainstay in the rotation next year. Honestly, if the Royals can get healthy starters this year, don't count on him much this year. I don't think he'll be on the team if they could find, any of their other starters. Unfortunately, speaking of the injuries you mentioned earlier, Stephen Kolek had a rehab start last Saturday when Dobnak was making his first official start for the Royals, and forearm tightness, and now he's getting a second opinion. Second opinions on
Yeah.
forearm tightness almost always mean UCL damage.
Mm-hmm.
So it went from forearm tightness often means UCL damage to second opinion, which is almost always UCL damage. So we may not see him the rest of the year. We may not see him next year, which is really unfortunate.
Yeah, that it is. It's
I
set.
do
Go
I
ahead.
do have to wonder how much of him views it as kind of a blessing that he's going to get to spend extra time with his family.
I definitely think like that's a silver linings thing, right? Like I'm definitely viewing that as a silver linings thing. Like this is this has to be a tough time being
Yeah.
sidelined, watching the guys that you've grown these relationships with and going out and playing this competitive game with, and like you can't go and help them. You literally just can't do anything to help them out other than verbal and moral support. But, like, now, I don't know what he does, like, going on the road or things like that, but I'm sure now it's like, "Okay, well, I don't have to worry about X, Y, and Z, and the time that I would have spent on those things, I can now devote to the family." So, I definitely think that's a silver linings, thing of the situation. You wanna talk about some other, injury updates?
Yeah, I guess we'd better.
Yeah, so I'm not starting from the most recent to the oldest. I'm going back to Michael Garcia because that is one that I've heard a lot of Royals fans talk about, and we did get a little bit of an update. So he began swinging again during the All-Star break. We had that update. So far, so good there. He ramped up his batting practice progression this week. Okay, so while they were still at home, he's going to just continue that activity until he's ready for a rehab assignment. That's what's going on there. So I don't know what the timetable is. Expected return still says August. However, I find that expected return gets kicked down the road more often than not. Usually, that expected return is pretty bullish. So be a little bit bearish on it. Kyle Isbell, another position player for the Royals. He began his rehab assignment in Omaha on the 21st. Played his 3 innings, got his action in. He's just going to continue ramping up his workload. That's we talk about this injury affects the swing and this injury affects throwing and things like that. It's kind of hard to do any of that when you have a foot injury, left plantar fasciitis. Like that's the foundation for everything, especially for a guy who relies so much on, his quick reaction and able to transfer his weight very, very suddenly to make those reads count in center field. So far so good there on Isbell as well. You already talked about Kolek. I know a lot of Royals fans out there were disappointed to hear about the Bobby Witt Jr. move to the IL. He, according to the update from the 22nd, he's waiting for back spasms to subside before beginning baseball activity. So as of the last update, this is still a continuing thing. Like this is not
Yeah.
a hey, we're just gonna let him rest to be safe. This is still an issue for Bobby. So I'm not saying red flag. I'm just saying this happens when you do everything that Bobby does, when you do everything that any baseball player does. This is his first IL stint of his career, too, which is still astounds me. He has been such a consistent force for the Royals that I think we really overlook that. Are you concerned at all about him going to the IL?
I'm a little concerned because Royals have been so reluctant to use the IL this year that I'm like, man, how bad is it that they actually put him on the IL? And it's also a little concerning that the spasms are bad enough that he's just not doing anything right now. But the when did they have the estimated return for him? It was end of July or early August. So they're not currently thinking he's going to be on the IL for very long. Of course, we've seen so many times this year that they go, "Oh, he'll be right back," and then you never see him again. So there's still a lot of doubt there. I'm cautiously going to not panic for now, and we'll see what happens with him.
Okay. All right. That's all we can do is wait and see. The last one, which I know had a lot of Royals fans concerned as well, Jack Caglione trying to make that diving catch out there in right field on the 21st. He exited the game early. Still listed as day to day with right shoulder soreness. Hasn't been in the lineup since, but he participated in baseball action on the 23rd, acting manager or interim manager, however you want to say it, Paul Hoover, said that he might be available off the bench. So it sounds like this is, just getting better, just resting it up a little bit. But Jeremy, I know that this brought up that conversation that we touched on before, is like, well, this is why he should be at first base. This wouldn't have happened if he was at first base. What, his bat would still be in the lineup.
Famously never dive.
Never
dive
on the
collide
right
with runners and injure their shoulders.
Yeah. Or runners never run into them and break their thumb.
Yeah.
Never happened.
Nope. Yeah, listen, we got to see some Jack at first while Vinny was hurt. I was not impressed. Maybe he could, get better at it the same way he's gotten better in right field. But I really like his arm in right field. I really don't like his scoops at first. He's got more experience at first, so the fact that he looks better in right field to me is very concerning for his future at first base to me. Other people will tell me, he's very low in range in the outfield, and his arm makes up for that some, but not enough. And if he slows down at all, it's going to be worse. Of course, that discounts the idea that maybe he gets better at jumps as he continues to play in the outfield to make up for his reduced speed as he ages. I don't know the answers. I just know that right now I definitely prefer him in right field, and injuries are what happens when people play the game hard. If he hadn't dove for that ball, he wouldn't be hurt. But people would be complaining, well, you got to dive for that. You got to try harder. And this is the argument I always have, at least in my mind, with people when they argue, well, that guy's not trying very hard down the first baseline. Well, he could run full out for a 1 in 100 chance that he beats it out, or he could run at 80% and not and have a far less likelihood of injury and still have a 1 in 1,000 chance. I mean, if they throw it away and you're going 80%, you're still going to beat it out. But these are major league players. They're not going to throw it away very often. It's extremely rare for an infielder to throw a ball away on a routine ground ball. So there's this hustle culture which pervades America in general, but especially baseball. And I'm just like, the hustling doesn't do anything except make things potentially worse. So I'm not for that. And I'm not saying Jack shouldn't have dived for that ball, dived, whatever we're going to say. But I am saying, like, I don't know. It just felt like a moment I could throw my soapbox down and jump on it for a sec.
I got you.
And did I mention I got 2 hours of sleep last night? We know that my focus isn't great in the best of times.
Well, we will, if now is not the best of times, then we will look to the future. And by the future, I mean the present prospects. Fangraphs just had their big, long pre-trade deadline top 100 update come out, and the Royals had 4 in the top 100 and 5 in the top 105.
Yeah.
To no surprise, Kendrick Churio is the top-ranked Royals prospect at 41.
I
then Josh Hammond, 41.
Okay.
According to Royals Review Twitter.
Okay.
Josh Hammond comes in at 61. Ramon Ramirez follows up the one trend at 81. And Heibel Gomez, who we talked about a little bit before, at 84. And then Blake Mitchell is 105.
I got confused. Keith Law had him at 36.
Gotcha.
And he had Hammond at 66. So it's roughly the same ballpark. And Law only went up to 70.
Gotcha.
And Heibel Gomez being in the top 100 while still only playing in the complex league. Yeah. And I think he's only 17 still.
Yeah.
Wild.
Well,
it's wild and exciting. I think I mentioned last time that Lesky had heard a scout tell him that he could be a top 15 prospect next year. That's how you get to be top 15 next year, is top 100 this year.
Correct. You got to start somewhere. And just to clarify, he is down in the Dominican Summer League right now. Still needs to make that jump up to the complex league. I had two gripes with Fangraphs rankings. First and foremost, no David Shields at all. After what we've seen from him at Quad Cities, I get it. I get it. The fastball velocity
scares him.
I guess so, and I absolutely understand that. The four-seam fastball is still a workhorse pitch. It is still a foundational pitch, and if that velocity doesn't come, well,
You
then
know,
it's easier to tee off on it. Go ahead.
the funny thing is, guys are using the four-seamer less and less.
They are. Yeah,
They're going to cutters and sinkers and just not throwing fastballs.
correct. And then the other thing I was confused about is that they gave Churio a present 40 grade on his command after he's like one of the best strike throwers that in like the high A and low A levels this year.
Yeah.
I
He's
that
very
was
weird.
completely a head scratcher to me. But maybe he is getting more luck off of batted balls than I know. But from what I've seen, this guy's dotting it with gas.
10 strikeouts in 5 innings. Well, and that's not control. I mean, if they putting the ball in play, that doesn't necessarily ding your control if you're throwing strikes.
Right. Sorry. That was just one of the context things that I was trying to add on. So, but those are my gripes.
Yeah, I don't. They gave him a 50 plus future value overall, right?
They gave him a 50 future value. Yes.
50, not 50 plus. I guess they don't do 50 plus. I think he's a 55 at least, maybe a 60, but he'll have to earn that over time, I guess. They don't like to give out those 60s till guys are a little bit older or a little bit more advanced, I guess.
Yeah, they really don't. And the 60 grades were very rare this year. I think there's only 9 60 grade prospects on Fangraph's list.
Fangraphs does not like to give out those advanced future values. They've got 8 60s, and Jesus Mate leads the way at 65 future value. Man, the Mets look stupid. And I guess I look stupid because I said, man, this is a stupid trade for the Brewers to give up Freddie Peralta when they could be competing. And Freddie Peralta's not been that good this year, and they've got the best prospect in baseball in their farm system. So,
yeah, that's true. That is true. Also, one of the prospect note, uncharacteristically, Josh Hammond was not in the Columbia Fireflies lineup last night. That piqued my interest. I think that he's definitely shown so far that he is ready for a promotion up to Quad Cities. But we might just be waiting to see what happens, with all the post draft shuffling, and after they get onboarded down in Surprise, well, where are they going to go after that? Get that figured out if they're going to go out to affiliated ball at all. Which, speaking of which, I completely forgot to say for Nate Pearson, the Royals did send out a minor league player in Max Martin, definitely like a competent relief pitcher down on the farm. I wouldn't go as far to say that he is a prospect, but Max Martin, prove me wrong. I would absolutely love to see it.
what level was he at? Do you remember?
I don't remember off the top of my head.
High.
Okay.
And
Yes,
they don't have. I was going to look up his stuff. They don't appear to have StatCast in high A.
No, they do not. And I'm glad that I brought up Max Martin because just as we were about to wrap up the podcast, the Royals made a transaction. They added Nate Pearson to the active roster, and then they optioned Eli Morgan back to Omaha. So we hopefully will see him here soon and see if the Royals can get some extra performance out of his stuff. Jeremy, anything else on the Royals? Oh, go ahead.
Ray Max Martin, I just wanted to point out that he is a high A reliever at 22 years old. Guys who are relievers in high A don't make it to the big leagues that often. Usually you're going to need to be a starter at that level if you're going to even become a reliever at the big league level. So you could be like, oh, but he had a 2.01 ERA. And yeah, fine. But also, I mean, come on, guys. He's a 21-year-old reliever or 22-year-old reliever who just got promoted to high A. He spent the first half of the season in low A after being in high A last year. And when he got to high A this year, the walks spiked. So he's not a guy you can. I saw some people saying that trading for someone who'd been DFA'd is a fireable offense. And that's just not right.
No, that's
all
not.
Kinds of guys get DFA'd and then traded for all the time. I remember when the Royals DFA'd Brian Abreu and the Yankees picked him up and he turned into a good reliever for them. Yoel Piamps got DFA'd by the Royals. Guys get DFA'd that you can trade for or sign and improve. And if you think that guys really got something, and a guy like Nate Pearson with the stuff he's got is gonna draw interest, somebody's gonna trade something for him. So Max Martin's not a big deal to give up. It's not a fireable offense. Please calm down.
Yep. I couldn't agree more. All right, Jeremy, we got to get out of here in a little bit, but do you have a quick review for us today?
Sure. So I finished the After Party season 2 yesterday, and by golly, it was at least as good as the first season. I had a terrific time with it. We went into a bunch of other movie genres. So the first one is a rom-com sequel for Anik, who was the kind of lead guy in the first one. We had a Hitchcockian horror movie. We had a noir detective thriller, just all kinds of good stuff going on there. And it was really fun. And I'm a little sad that we're never going to get a season 3. They apparently had an idea for season 3, but Apple canceled it. They couldn't find anyone else to buy it. And it's a little sad, but also we got 2 seasons of this show, which is more. It's at least 1.5 seasons more than I would have expected to get out of a concept like this, even though I think it's a really smart concept and it's really well executed, because the parody does not fall into the category of just doing the thing to an extreme degree. Like the humor is in, he's telling this story as if it's a noir detective film, and we know it's not. Like, we know that the situation is real. So the humor is in that dichotomy, not in the, well, let's make fun of noir detective films. It's in, like, noir detective films are the genre, and they're hyper realistic and all this stuff. But that's how you might view the world. And like, we're not making fun of him or the world. It's just funny to see that. And I really, really enjoyed it. Hope people with the Apple TV subscriptions, because they watched the baseball on there, will give it a shot.
There you go. I like that. My review today is number one, as always, go use your library, especially during the summer. Use it all year round. And from the library, I make sure I pick up 1 volume of manga, 1 fiction, and usually it's normally nonfiction for the rest of them. But the manga I picked up is like, okay, I'm going to start Demon Slayer. So I got volume 1 of Demon Slayer. It's a very popular anime. It was very, very good. I'm enjoying it so far. I think this runs up through like episode 6 or something like that. So it's not very deep into it, but a very good story. It is exactly what it sounds like. It is someone learning how to slay demons for a very good reason, I would say. So go check it out, or go check out the anime if you want.
Set in Industrial Revolution Japan, I believe.
Yes, that's a thank you. I could not remember like what that era was called, but yeah, that's the best way to describe it. So, all right, folks, we're going to go ahead and get on out of here. Thank you so much for listening today. Just a reminder, go check out royalsreview.com. Go create an account and join the comment community over there. But you can also follow or subscribe to us wherever you're listening to us at. I am Jacob Milham. They're Jeremy Greco. Thank you so much for joining us. And until next time, go Royals.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.